Barnes and Leslie. We are your Morning X. We've got Sleaze. It's brought to you by McDonald's. Archways to Opportunity helps employees achieve their dreams. To learn more, visit mcdonalds.com.
Nicole Kidman keeping her thriller streak alive with the first trailer for Holland. It's a film starring Nicole as a teacher in this town in Michigan whose concerns about her husband hiding secrets lead her to discovering something far bigger is going on.
Every day, I get to wake up in the best place on earth, Holland, Michigan. It may seem like we have everything all together, but right under the surface, it's like we're being strangled.
Here's the best part, because you get to make up a story and control everything. Like directing your own film, but better.
This is really super tonight, Nance. Did you do something different?
Brown mustard instead of yellow. I felt like doing something a little crazy. Get down, get down. This comes out. Our life is ruined.
How does she get so many gigs and it's the same gig every time?
This one looks really good.
They all look really good on the trailers.
The theme is there. Also starring Matthew Macfadyen.
Succession.
Gael, García, Bernal.
Yeah.
Jude Hill and Rachel Sennott. And speaking of Matthew Macfadyen, of course, you know him from Succession. He is set to star in this new show, Legacy of Spies, based on the John le Carré, George Smiley novels, portraying Smiley, the iconic intelligence officer from the novels, with the series drawing inspiration from the author's Smiley books and unpublished material. Now he's everywhere. It's pretty unbelievable once you see somebody like that, and then all of a sudden they're showing up in theme after theme after theme in movies and series.
What's interesting is his wife is a big star in England. Her name is Keely Hawes. Have you ever heard of her?
Oh, let me see. Keely.
She was in this huge limited series called The Bodyguard. It was on Netflix.
I saw The Bodyguard was great.
You sure it was the right Bodyguard? Because there were a couple. But she was the lead in that. And I spent a full week with Matthew and Keely, not with, but at a very small resort in St. Lucia when it was right before season 3 was starting to film. Right around COVID time, because they had to come hang tight there at the resort and then fly to New York and get their COVID tests and start filming.
Did you hang with them? Did you have breakfast with them? Or?
No. We had breakfast next to them. I mean, it wasn't like we were like breaking bread together. They're pretty to themselves, but she's a huge star in England.
Breaking news from this week, Conan is back next year to host the Oscars. Did you think that was going to happen? I guess he did such a great job. He's back.
It's a safe choice. It's a very safe choice, and why wouldn't they?
We talked yesterday in Celebrity Sleaze about Ted Lasso coming back, remember, for a 4th season. Well, one likely returning character might be Nate Shelley, played by Nick Mohammed. Back in January, in a video posted online, he explained that he had to reschedule some of his tour dates for his comedy tour, and then they said why, and he revealed that it was for some filming that he couldn't shift. He briefly held up a sign that read, "Believe." Well, I mean, that just gave it away.
I mean, duh.
I mean, come on. All right, here's another show for you. Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing. It's an upcoming Netflix series. You know I'm going to watch this. Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing. They released a trailer, and it's kind of exploring the dark side and the disturbing world of child influencers, focusing on Piper Raquel and her mother, Tiffany Smith.
Piper Raquel is an incredibly popular child influencer.
This young lady's amassed more than 10 million followers on YouTube.
Piper's mother, Tiffany Smith, is the momager.
She took these kids to massive viral fame. It seemed so innocent, but it wasn't innocent at all.
Tiffany finds people who want to be famous. She takes advantage of them. Things can get very muddy when kids are making an obscene amount of money. At her peak, Piper's earning between $300,000 and $500,000 a month.
Young girls have very large numbers of adult men as followers.
Tiffany would direct us to pose certain ways, hugging a certain way in a clip.
Closer, 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 closer.
She would be like, over and over, sex sells, make it sexy. It doesn't matter what happened to us as long as they got it on camera. I remember being so scared.
It's really crazy how many of these situations there are. It's like a bunch of little cults all happening out there and no one knows about it.
Making $300,000 to $500,000 a month.
A month?
Yeah, this is a 3-part series premiering April 9th.
Oh, I'll watch.
Netflix, of course. And you know those Harlan Corbin series or Coben series on Netflix? You and I have watched many of them.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, now Sam Worthington is staging a prison break at Netflix. He's going to star in the streamer's limited series, I Will Find You, based on the novel of the same name. An innocent father, Sam Worthington, serving life for the murder of his own son, receives evidence that his child might still be alive, and he's got to break out of prison to find out the truth. That sounds good.
The dude is doing so many of those movies that some of them are really good and some of them are just like...
I've gone back and found some of them. Michael C. Hall was in one of them that was one of the best ones I've ever seen.
The guy's done all. He's a prolific writer all over the place.
Yeah, if you don't know who we're talking about Harlan Coben. So look him up for Netflix, and there's a ton of his series on there.
His output deal with Netflix must be monstrous because he is cranking that stuff out.
Here's another one. They've greenlit a series starring Rachel Weisz based on a novel called Vladimir about a woman growing obsessed with a colleague. Quote, as a woman, Rachel Weisz, as her life unravels, she becomes obsessed with her captivating new colleague. Sounds like a Nicole Kidman thing, doesn't it? Full of sexy secrets, dark humor, and complex characters. How does Netflix do it? I mean, this is crazy.
I mean, they're dominating. I hear now they're going to start bringing podcasts like Call Her Daddy, stuff like that. They're going to have the video parts of them on, which for me, I just can't watch a podcast. Like, they're not meant to be watched. It's just two people sitting there. But I guess Netflix wants to keep everyone else from doing it.
Well, a lot of people go to these podcast tours.
I know. I don't get it.
They sell out everywhere.
That could be more interesting because you could interact with the crowd and there could be some funny moments. But if it's just a taped podcast, it's kind of hard to watch.
Chelsea Handler's been out everywhere. She's been doing a lot of podcasts recently. And you know how we chatted the other day about how she openly talks about her recreational drug use? But in this new interview, I want you to listen to this. I haven't even heard of some of these drugs.
If I'm microdosing, it's not a really big deal. It's a microdose. Like, I'll take one in the morning if I have a busy day. I'll take an LSD microdose. I eat healthfully. I drink. I went out last night, so I won't go out tonight. Everything's just kind of like what makes sense. It's not that hard to figure out once you've been in your own body for a long time. You're like, okay, this will agree with me and this won't. I've had enough experimentation to know that I can handle almost any drug. I did 5-DMEO once, 5-DMEOT. Am I saying it right?
What is it?
It's some frog venom. That was awful. But other than that, I've had a great experience with drugs. Yes. I love drugs. And I think that it can enhance your life and they can enhance your creativity. Whenever I write a book and I go in to edit it, I smoke a joint, I have a drink, or I take some drugs so I can go in and just futski with it and make it funnier.
She said futski, by the way, and I don't know how she stays alive.
She talks about this all the time. And some of those I never heard of before. That was Chelsea Handler. That is your Celebrity Sleaze.
No Contest Wrestling. O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson with the biggest names in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, X-Pac.
Getting suspended in school. That's the number one thing people, when they meet me, they tell me.
I got detention.
Yeah, everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Liv Morgan.
I couldn't believe that was my time. I was so grateful.
Talking about living dreams. No pun intended, TJ. Relax.
I rarely do these anymore, but I was really looking forward to this.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast. Part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.